All right, so we're going to start combining these images together, that all the photos that you have collected of the people, of groups, and of your landscapes. As you can see, I don't have everything, and the more you have, the more options you have. I cannot say that more. Minimum is minimum. If you're looking to do really well in this, you need to do more than the minimum ask. So, that said, if you're struggling on how to kind of get this put together, I should have a video that you can look over how I went through the process of the little old lady in the shoe. I'm going to go through some steps here, but if you need more inspiration, you can check out that video. First thing I want you to do is make sure that you are setting up this page correctly. So go to File, New. We're going to be doing illustration. We're going to make sure it is in inches, and we're going to do 11 by 17. And it's going to be landscape. So 17 by 11 would make it landscape. You don't need artboards, and we'll keep the resolution down to 150. Hopefully you did this already in your file when you created the photos, and make sure it's 16 bits. But if you didn't, you can go back and change it. So call this PS Final Boys and Girls Your Last Name. And then hit create. This is the format that I want you to have it in. So remember, I did talk briefly about how to transfer images. You could move the scene. This is the one where you sent to me. Hopefully it was already at 11 by 17, but if it wasn't, I can literally select everything and drag it and drop it to this document. I'm going to increase the size. So I'm doing Command minus to go out, pan in a little bit, but I'm trying to get to all of these. So I'm going to select them all because you can see that when I moved them, this was at a higher resolution. So all my images are a lot larger than this size. So make sure that you keep everything at, and then if you have to get it to fit into size. My original photos were at a higher res. So when I brought it into the smaller res image, everything was larger. All right. So now I've got my background in and my people all over the place. And maybe he's like further in the back. Remember that to scale in this software, you don't need to use shift. You don't want to distort the image. So maybe he's kind of further back here. And if he is, here's a new tool I want to introduce if we didn't get to it, is the burn and dodge. So if I need to make him look a little bit more like lights on one side but darks on the other, you can always use the burn and dodge. So burn, gotta be, oh, remember that I can't do anything on the image. I can't do anything in the image until I turn it into a rastered. So once you placed all your images, then change it into a rasterized image. It'll allow you to kind of have control to do what I'm doing right now, which is to give him a little light but darken him so it looks like the light is coming from up above and down. So see how I'm getting it dark in the shadow? You can do that with all of these. So make sure you're on the right layer. You got to take it out of a smart. I'm just doing the right click to get it, but remember you can always go up to layer, rasterize, and then click on the smart and it will change it into it. So maybe this one, you can even crop them off, right? Some of these people could just be really close, but think about, some of these can be really close. Think about the scale of where he is here next to the railing and where he is here next to the railing. So he might need to be really big. So it's kind of midway. You got to keep in mind the scale of these. And then this might be dark over here, but light over here. Where's the light source coming? If I need to do it lighter, I can do dodge to get it that the light's coming right at him. And if I need to do burn, I can get him darker on this side. So this is a way of kind of affecting the light if you didn't shoot it with intentions of the light, right? So I'm really kind of making him dark, making that maybe there's a light source right here coming at him. Let's see how this is really starting to feel like he's outside. So, you know, it'd be fun to have some people kind of running out here. I don't think we have any views like that. So just keep in mind that it'd be nice to have some action shots. Again, make sure you keep scale in mind. So we're all at the same scale as this railing. This can be brighter than these two, right? And now we can add some other people in. You still need to put some shadow in here and kind of make it feel like it's a part of the space. So my person 2, this could almost work. Take that one out for now. But again, remember they're looking a little bit like they're all looking at you. So remember, try to get ones where they're not looking at you. Got to keep it in scale. It's got to be not as big as this, but not as small as this. Maybe. And then this should be a lot darker because they're coming from here. But you can see I can start kind of playing around with this. Closer. I can see that he's floating on here, right? So one, I don't want to block anyone I've already made. And two, if I wanted this in front of this, we've got to make sure it's in the proper layer. So if this person needs to be in front of this, I need to move it in front of it. But I don't want to do that. I just really want to shift him over so that there's more of them. And be careful with, now that I see it, I kind of put too much of that effect. So I might want to go back to history and take away some. Or remember that you can always do color adjustment, right? So maybe this just looks a little too red, or I don't have the hues right. So remember, make sure you have the right selection. It's the group one, so it's this. I can always add hue and saturation. It's going to affect everything, but I can come back and change it. So it's a little less red face. Come back. And then remember that you do option and you can see that arrow comes up in the box and I can click on it. And again, it's only going to relate to these guys. So remember all those skills that I showed you how to do with the layering. And just keep track of layers that you don't want open are open. And again, once you lay this all out, you can delete the ones you don't need. But remember the scale of the railing, if that's not right, then he needs to kind of come down a little bit more. And again, just go through all the people and kind of add them in to your party. And more action the better, right? So if we have someone that just might not be so much fun at the party, so we need to make sure that we get some more action shots. So this one, if I want to kind of come in front of this and behind this guy, I gotta know where that layer is. So not quite. And again, I can edit a little bit of the burn. Don't go too crazy with this. It's a smart object, so I need to rasterize it. I can minimize the brush by the arrows. Minimize the brush with brackets. And maybe get her a little bit darker. Because she's definitely behind him. And then if I want, I can hit Command to click on a layer that I have open. So I can't do any effects on it. So again, I need to change and rasterize. I don't want to get him darker because he's behind the other guy, right? So he should be darker. And if you want even more, you can do color balance or hues or contrast to get something darker, right? If I want him to be in generally darker, I could do that and then link him to that one color. So there's a lot of ways to change the color to get it to fit in here. You don't have to I would just use this for a little bit of sampling. I kind of feel like this was overdone using the burn tool. So keep in mind these effects can help create the illusion of darkness and behind and front. All right, so that's a few samples of how you can start building this layering. Make sure to give these people some grounding. So you're going to want to get your brushes out and kind of add new layers for shadows, right? And you can just do that by adding some black in. And I'm just doing it roughly. What I can do is just opacity. And then I could, again, remember, this is all about going back and forth, kind of erase around it so it doesn't feel like it's two blobs under his feet. But now it feels like he's like on the ground. So keep in mind, shadows are important to show that someone is grounded. So even here, I should have added some black to ground it. But it's back and forth. You're either painting it or erasing from it or opacity. There's all these different ways to kind of color blends to layer this up to get you a really realistic effect. All right. Remember, I do have that video if you want to look over some more different ways to change the light, do some different sources. You can watch that video of the little old lady. Good luck. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do.